experiments involving the implanting of nanotechnology, mostly in the form of weapons, and many of these machine implants are named after Alice in Wonderland characters, and 4 of them, the Jabberwock, the White Knight, the Queen of Hearts, and the White Rabbit, actually are artificial intelligence, and they behave like their original Lewis Carroll characters. Cardcaptor Sakura, I'm sure a lot of you know that one.
I'm familiar with that.
You're familiar with that one?
We all are.
I know. Long-running popular clamp series. Had 2 episodes that directly addressed Alice in Wonderland story. In 1998, Sakura's Little Adventure, Sakura is shrunken by the cloud card called Little, and we see her wearing a little blue dress and the white, really, pinafore, like Alice. In 1999, the episode Sakura in Wonderland, she actually plays the Alice character, and the other characters from the show play the characters from Wonderland themselves. Probably not as cheerful of one. I heard guess some of you know Pandora's Hearts, right? Yep. Okay. Our protagonist, Oz, is a wealthy 15-year-old boy who's cast into the abyss of prison during his coming-of-age ceremony, where he encounters a lot of strange creatures. He's rescued by a girl named Alice, who has an alternative being as the blood-stained Black Rabbit. And we also see the Cheshire Cat and a few good doses from the Wizard of Oz and Sherlock Holmes thrown in for good measure. So a little bending of or combining of Western literature, but that's okay. It's a very original series, very interesting. All right, today, yes, one of my personal favorites, and an oldie, I know. Today I'm going to talk about 4 shoujo stories that deal with this Alice in Wonderland theme. The first one, Magic Knight Ray Earth, by the all-female storytelling group Clamp, 4 women from Osaka, who 3 of whom went to high school together, and who kind of partied together and started drawing together. They all created doujinshi, so they made their own comic books at first, and it's now become quite an empire. Many of their works have been really popular, and they all tend to exhibit this fluid, graceful style that we know of shoujo. The flowing lines, the beautiful colors, the beautiful people, and beautiful clothing. Their works have a lot of energy in them. Ray Earth started out as a TV series. Actually, it was a manga first, TV series. In the U.S., it was serialized as a direct-to-video movie. It's the story of 3 girls, Hikaru, Umi, and Fuyu, who've just graduated from junior high. And even though they've spent most of their junior high life bickering and quarreling, they're still the best of friends. And they're really bemoaning the fact that they're going to have to split up in high school. They're going to all go to different high schools. And Hikaru, of course, says, I wish we could be together forever. And in typical anime style, the earth opens up, actually the heavens open up, and we find out that their wish is granted, except for one little problem. They find themselves falling through a hole into another dimension, where they're tasked with saving a small world called Saphiro. And in order to do this, they have to put aside their quarrels, and they have to figure out how to work together. Now, along the way, they get a little help because they become magical girls, so they each get a superpower. Nice. As they're, here we see from the manga, them falling through the manhole and coming out on the other end. Now, when they first get to Saphira, it looks like a beautiful world. But pretty quickly they figure out magic and monsters abound everywhere. And nothing is as it seems. They encounter all kinds of strange creatures, and they have to learn to work together and to actually fight. Now, in Saphira, they're aided by a lot of magical creatures. They come across, they have a giant white griffin, they meet a giant beetle, they have a giant fish who threatens them, and of course, they pick up a furry friend along the way. Typical shoujo. Magical girls, with their ability to save the world, really were cutting edge in Japan for young girls. In Japan, especially in the 80s, young women knew what their role in culture was. They were expected to get married, have children, retire to home. Unlike here, where we know, we women, know that we have a lot of options. That wasn't always the case in Japan. And what happens is, as shoujo began with its girl power theme, girls began to see that they could change their culture and their world, and that they had opportunities. Unlike the heroines of Hollywood movies like King Kong, where Fay Ray stands there, oh, help me, until the big strong guy comes and tries to beat up the ape. In the case of shoujo, the girls rely on themselves and their friends. A lot of times they have a little help because they have magical powers, but not always. So this is really